So let's just start on some of the issues. And there was a recent Courier Mail article about the number of outstanding returns that were still waiting in terms of the minimum financial requirements for licensing.
Yes.
They weren't all.
Yeah.
And there was quite a large number quoted in the Courier Mail article, 40,000 coming up for a due date by the end of this month.
Yeah.
So can you just expand a little bit on who's involved in that?
Sure.
What licensees are involved in it? What's the present situation?
Yeah, so our licensees are broken up into category based on their turnover. So we have what's called self-certifying licensees, and we call SC1, SC2, and it's a turnover up to $800,000 a year for those licensees. And these are all contractor grade licensees as well, I'll stress, with a QBCC Act license. So those SC licensees have an annual reporting date of 31 March. By and large, all SC licensees will have that as their annual reporting date. There are a few who don't. So if there's an SC licensee listening to this who thinks, hang on, I've been given a different date, that might be the case. It might be the case you receive a notice from us changing it going forward, or you might have negotiated a different reporting date with us as well. I will stress that is a very exceptional circumstance to agree to a changed date. So for the SC licensees, annual reporting is something that can be done online. And what it is we call it a financial health check. So it's an opportunity for the licensee to fill out some short questions. There's around 6 questions in the online form, if that's how you're doing it, to make sure you've got the turnover, to make sure you've got the working capital for the turnover. So that's really all it is at that level, at the SC level. It's fairly quick and easy to do online. Most of the feedback we receive is quite positive, that it was easier than they thought. And we really, anyone who hasn't done it yet, very much encourage you to get on and do it before the 31st of March, being the due date, because there is regulatory action that can be taken.
So is there a bit of a grading in terms of the regulatory action, or some sort of, what will you be pushing, say, what buttons will you be pushing very early in the piece in terms of all general reminders or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we do have a published regulatory guide which sets out the steps that we're going to take. So we have said in that guide that for this year, we will issue 2 reminders to licensees about the lodgement after the 31st of March. So that might be an email just saying, hey, remember you've got to lodge. After those 2 reminders, we will then start taking regulatory action. And the first step will be to focus on those SC licensees who didn't lodge in 2019. So they had to lodge 31 December 2019, and they also have to lodge 31 March of this year. So if you're an SC licensee and you didn't lodge 31 December 2019 and you haven't lodged 31 March 2021, you'll be first cab off the rank.
Understandably.
And the first action will be a notice of proposed licence condition. And the licence condition that we will propose is of no new work. So you can keep doing your current jobs, but you can't take on new work until you lodge your annual reporting. There'll also be a condition to lodge by a certain date, so that if that isn't done, the next step will be a notice of show cause to suspend if that licence condition is imposed. Now, of course, if you get a notice of proposed licence condition, the first thing you should do is go and lodge. If you think you have lodged and this is a mistake, contact us. Do not ignore this notice, because it can result in you ultimately losing your licence if you just continue to do nothing. So very important that you contact us if you think it's a mistake.
So the ones at the front of the queue, so to speak, in which the QBCC will be taking pretty prompt action come the 30th, will be the licensees who have failed 2 years in a row to essentially meet the annual return requirements.
Yeah, that's right.
And that will be, okay, and lead to a potential no new work condition.
Yes.